All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about the New York Giants. About a week has gone by since the 40-0 loss at home on national television, primetime to divisional rival in the Dallas Cowboys. It was crazy, man. It was 26-0 at halftime. It was 16-0 before you even knew it. Every single break went the Cowboys' way. Like literally every single break went the Cowboys' way. Now, there are games in the National Football League, or I mean, even all sports for that, with that being said, where it just doesn't make sense. And you have games like this, and there's just no logic behind it. And it's just like, it wasn't our game. Nothing worked. Literally, nothing worked. And that's where New York found themselves after week 1 to Dallas. I want to say this: Daniel Jones, following a loss in the last 9 games, is 7-1-1 with a completion percentage of 69.8, 13 total touchdowns to 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 100.5. So Daniel Jones has been in this situation before. And I also want to say, in the last 12-13 games for New York, they're 9-3-1 versus not the Cowboys or Eagles. All right, not including Dallas, not including Philly. They're 9-3-1. All right, so they're beating everybody else. You have a big time matchup this week, and by big time I mean you got to beat you know what I'm talking about. You got to beat them down. All right, you got to beat their ass. You got to take down Arizona. But before we get into it, if you guys enjoyed today's video, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. Usually I post at least a couple of Giants videos every single week, but it was a long week. I wanted it all to dive down as people continue to overreact to week 1. There are countless times where, and I've been saying it on this channel like all week, Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions this time last season, week 1. There are Super Bowl teams that got decimated week 1, absolutely blown out, that actually went on to win the Super Bowl. But what New York can't do is they can't start 0-2. All right, you can't start 0-2. I will say, the Giants' schedule isn't necessarily ideal. However, you have storylines, guys get injured. We've gone through it all before, so I won't get into it today. But the good thing is this: it's a loss. All right, and all losses, unfortunately, count the same. If New York, put up 39 points and lost, they still would have lost the game. When we throw into the equation that it's week 1 and historically teams start so slow, outside of Dallas, and by the way, like, I didn't even think Dallas's offense is that great. New York just shot themselves in the foot. Literally nothing New York's way went. Nothing worked. Dak Prescott, this team just put up 40 points with their quarterback throwing 0 touchdowns. There was not a passing touchdown from the Dallas Cowboys, and their starting quarterback went just 13-24 for 143 yards. Now, obviously, there are things that go into this, but you get my point here. It just genuinely was one of those games where nothing made sense. Absolutely nothing made sense. So it's hard for me to really look into it because it's I know Dallas blew them out of the water, but I think it's a case in point example of overreacting to week 1. Now, Daniel Jones, 15-28, only 104 yards, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. One thing I want to reiterate before we get any further into today's video is Dallas is a really, really good football team. I think Dallas and, with San Francisco, I think they're the best 2 teams in the NFC. Philadelphia is kind of trending a little bit down, but keep in mind, this is a young New York team. It's not Super Bowl or bust. It's not you don't need to win a Super Bowl this year. You don't need to win a Super Bowl next year. Daniel Jones is young. Saquon Barkley is young. Dexter Lawrence is young. This is a really, really young team. And if they can bounce back against Arizona, it would be perfect. And that's exactly what I anticipate. I don't even know what's going on in Arizona, man. They've got a defensive coach. I don't even know why Joshua Dobbs is the starter. It should be Clayton Tune. I think Clayton Tune could be a hidden gem for him, but they're still running with Joshua Dobbs. It's not 2016, and you're not playing Florida. The New York Giants are going to steamroll them. And once again, I just want to say this because it's the most impressive random stat that I don't think anybody really knows. Once again, Daniel Jones, following a loss in his last 9 games, is 7-1-1 with a completion percentage of essentially 7 and 0 interceptions. 13 touchdowns, 0 interceptions for a passer rating of 100.5. Yeah, trust me, this team is going to be just fine. Brian Daboll is, I guarantee you, this New York Giants team has not, their coaching staff has not slept. I guarantee you they have not slept all week to make sure. Keep in mind, as we know, this is prime time at home. They got completely and utterly embarrassed. I am not a gambler. I don't know what the spread is for this Giants-Cardinals game. They're going to steamroll. I'm actually anticipating over 30 points. Saquon Barkley, only 12 carries, 51 yards. If they can control the line of scrimmage, which they should be able to control the line of scrimmage against the Arizona Cardinals, it's going to be a blowout. It's going to be an absolute blowout. But some things to look for offensively in this upcoming game, it's the wide receiver room. It's the wide receiver room because, Daniel Jones only threw for 104 yards. The leading receiver was tight end 1 in Darren Waller. I like a lot of the concepts that I saw. I love, like Daniel Bellinger lining up at fullback, 2 tight end sets, lining up on the same side, lining up on opposite sides. We talked about it all summer for a very specific reason. Play action pass. You cannot stack the box anymore with Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones and this great running back room that the New York Giants have. So you're going to see more versatility because that Dallas game was an absolute wash. Some players to watch, in my opinion, we're going to go Jalen Hyatt. He only had 1 target in game 1. And Isaiah Hodgins. He had 3 targets, 1 total catch for 24 yards. We talked a lot about Isaiah Hodgins this past summer because, when he came onto New York to end off the season, the halfway point of the season, the dude feasted. The dude was essentially wide receiver 1. And I know a lot of people like to, look at it and be like, the 2020 6th round pick. He played 2 games in his rookie season, comes on with the Giants, plays 8 games, 42 targets, 33 catches, 351 yards. I get it. The stats aren't blowing away, but Giants fans know it. We watched the Vikings games. We know what this guy did against them. In the playoff game, 8 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. So we saw the chemistry with Daniel Jones last season. I'm anticipating huge games from Darren Waller, Isaiah Hodgins, and then we have Jalen Hyatt. But obviously, Mr. Daniel Jones is also going to feast. The dude is Daniel Jones is such a disrespected quarterback in this league. It's actually unreal. And people are going to say, "Oh, it's just Arizona. It's just Arizona." But a win is a win. A loss is a loss. All losses count the same. This isn't college football. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter. It's week 1. All right. So a win, bounce back, get back on schedule because I think what's that next game? San Francisco, Seattle. The schedule is going to get a little bit tricky here in the next couple of weeks. So a win is absolutely crucial. You do not want to start 0-2, although it is just week 2. You definitely, in the NFC East, don't want to start 0-2. So that's it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button. But Giants fans, NFL fans, mainly Giants fans, I want to hear your opinions down below. I want to hear a confidence meter. Give me a confidence meter, 1 through 10, 10 being overly confident, 1 being, oh man, we're effed. Very curious where Giants fans are standing after that week 1 loss to Dallas. So let me know in the comment section. But as always, have a great rest of your day. Have a great weekend and stay tuned on Sunday because we're definitely posting a Giants victory recap video. So thank you for watching. We'll see you.